Hello, welcome to the Pedal Progressions podcast, where progression is the obsession. Today, we have our much anticipated interview with George and Katie Swanzy, who are the owners and proprietors of the Rockford Bike Shop here in our, Kellen and I's hometown of Rockford, Michigan. Craig hasn't moved here yet.
Working on it.
But we talk about their move from starting working in a small bike shop in Rockford to owning a very, very large bike shop with a huge deck in a really cool location.
So guys, if you are interested in keeping up to date with the Pedal Progressions podcast, please follow us on Instagram at pedal_progressions_podcast and find the link in bio for more information and over to our merch store.
Yeah, check out our merch. I'm going to be updating stuff. Now it's getting warmer. Make sure you guys get your jerseys and your other gear from us. I love the jerseys. Made a great material, like a stretchy, kind of like spandex, but not spandex material. It's a great jersey material. Check it out. Everything you buy in there helps support us, make the podcast better. We appreciate everything you do. Brian, back to you.
We'll be making a special jersey for the doctor that helped Courtney with her surgery, who we found out is a mountain biker. And I cannot wait to tell that story on one of our upcoming podcasts. Dr. Rizzo did an excellent job, and Courtney is back at home for anyone that was worrying about that. And that's a great opportunity to talk about our sponsors, our long-running sponsor, the Building Blocks Foundation, which you can find at buildingblocksfoundationinc.org. They're helping underprivileged and underserved populations in the greater Grand Rapids area. Check them out. Summer camps are coming up. Let's help some kids out. Send them donations. Also, I'm excited to announce that the place that has really helped me get in shape and become a better person, 8th Day Gym, is a sponsor now. They have an awesome deal on their website where you can do $50 for unlimited classes for a month. So I suggest going to their website, signing up for that, and get into shape, because just riding Zwift and the trainer is not going to make you in the best shape for the spring. I already found that out when I went out and rode mountain bikes last week when it was warm out, and realized that I'm not in as good a shape as I want to be, which nobody is. So check them out. Hope you enjoy this interview with George and Katie. There's some funny stories about George's trip to France, giant deck picks, basset hounds, and all things awesome about Rockford Bike Shop. So check it out and let us know what you think.
I don't watch any series of shows. I'm weird like that.
Good for you. Probably saves a lot of time.
It does.
Just listen to podcasts?
I'm the only one that listens. Well, yeah. Craig does. Kellen had never listened to one until our own.
I didn't listen to your own podcast, so I was forced to, or proof listening.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Does it feel good to sit back and not be working on bikes
I'm
and
not
moving?
emotionally prepared to not be still working right now.
Couple more sips and then I think you'll be all right.
All right, we'll work on that.
So do you feel like you've moved everything into the new shop now, and you guys are set and good to go, and you don't have anything else to worry about? You can just retire?
We are functional.
It's in here.
Yeah, it's in here. The back of house is,
The train wreck.
that's what the slow months of winter are for.
So lassies.
Yeah, that was
It'll be ready in a year.
Yeah, when we do our spring party next year, it'll be on another level.
The 1-year anniversary party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was already in the back. We're trying to figure out space, and then all of a sudden I was like, I think we need a second floor in the back with like stairs and.
I mean, maybe somebody
Place.
said that when we were designing the building, but
Yeah,
You guys can put beds up there and just never go home.
that's against code.
Yeah.
There's some people that they kept us from doing that.
Secret
also,
doors.
do you want to live where you work?
No.
He's talking about people that stay a little too long at the spring party.
It's a lot longer.
Just for the party?
It's a lot longer drive for me to go home than the old shop.
It's not that bad. It's like a 4-minute difference.
Yeah. We're neighbors.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Almost, yeah.
How long have you guys officially been open then?
2 weeks this past Saturday.
Yeah, we opened the doors on the
First.
1st.
Nice.
Yeah, we had the sign up on the 28th. Lease was up, and yeah, we didn't have those 2 double-decker racks there, or triple-decker, I should say, and everything was all over the floor. Yeah, we actually had a very, very busy March 1st Saturday. It was full send with people stepping over everything. It was definitely a challenge.
Yeah, I was here for the grand opening party, and man, that was busy here. But yeah, I looked around like, I think you had more bikes in your old shop, and that was what, maybe a
They were up.
fifth
They
of the
were
size?
they-
Yeah,
they
they're all
were
hanging from the roof.
147 when we.
Hanging from the roof?
Yeah. So
Man, that's
we had to find another home for them.
it was amazing how much you had in your old shop.
Yeah, it's like a big bike shop exploded in here, even though it came out of a small shop. So yeah.
Yeah, the biggest advantage to this one, we still haven't figured out how to mitigate all the stuff that we have, but we know that the back of house is big enough to shove all of our problems back there, whereas the other place there wasn't. So all of our problems were oozing out on the floor
Is that
between like box bikes and all that kind of other stuff. It was pretty horrible.
Is that why you keep Bob in the back too? Boom, roasted.
Well, you see, he's still highly visible. I mean, he's just behind the bar. So
He hustles.
yeah.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
really
he does. Bob's a good guy.
Yeah.
Your social media presence have gone way up since Bob has started.
He's
He has
He's very motivated.
very good content.
Yeah. Former guest Bob Hammond. By the way, we're joined by George and Katie, or
Hi.
Kate Swanzy, the owners of Rockford Bike Shop, who just made a major move by building a giant building and moving from a strip mall, which was a fun location that I enjoyed going to very much,
Thank you.
to this new giant location that is right off the bike path and right across the street from a distillery and a brewery.
And it's beautiful.
We're very excited about
Yeah.
that.
Oh, thank you. It's been a long time coming. I've been wanting to do it our way for a very, very long time, and somehow we figured out the path to do so, and now we're kind of I'm never moving again. Ever.
And neither is Jackson.
When did you finally decide, like, that's it, we're building our own new shop and we're going to do it our way?
Before we signed the lease at the last place.
So that sounds like 13 months worth of advance.
It was,
Notice?
we wanted to build a new shop before we even opened the last spot, but you've got some capital to generate, and there wasn't anywhere to buy to like move into, so it was either buy an existing building, but we just didn't want to keep spending money on rent for the rest of our lives.
So I've been asked this question by other people, but do you own this whole building? I know there's other shops next door,
Yes.
so you own it all.
Yep.
Yep.
And do you have renters for your other stuff? What's coming in next year?
We're working on it.
Okay, so you don't know yet.
It's hopefully going to be a veterinary clinic.
Oh,
Their old vet, who we would love to have back. So
That would be.
selfishly, it would be great to just be able to walk them out one door into another to go see their favorite vet. So
yeah, that'd be fun.
No, it's great for the area. I mean, you have to either go way down to West River or up to 14 Mile.
Yeah.
So and with all the neighborhoods developing around us, I think it would be borderline lucrative for them. So
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm just looking at the area here. I mean, you got bikes, dogs, and beer, like all at a central location. And what more do you need?
and other boozes.
Yeah.
So talk to us about the origins for the original Rockford Bike Shop. What inspired you guys to take the leap and do the thing?
we spent a lot of time going through. The owner passed at Speed Merchants, where we worked as hourlies, me almost 30 years there. And we kind of, before he got diagnosed with glioblastoma, we were going to approach him and talk about transitioning ownership to us.
Or
we-
buying in.
Yeah, or buying in and getting a little bit, piece of the pie, since we were big factors in kind of driving, their growth in the market. And he passed, and there was a lot that transpired over a couple years where we reached a point where we were told to come up with a business plan, and part of our business plan was, the building and an exit strategy. And it was. I've been doing this for almost 35 years. It was time to do things finally our way, and so far it has proven to be a good path.
Nice. Yeah, and so you starting at Speed Merchant, you came from pretty much a shack essentially. That's a small building to
Yep.
where you were in the little strip mall. So now you got this awesome place. So you guys really seen it all as far as growth and really expanding. And
Yes, and it's been a challenge, but fortunately we've had a very good team behind us for about 97% of it. We've definitely had some staffing issues at times. Everyone does. So ours have actually been pretty minimal, so we're, very grateful for that. It's been a journey, and we keep making the right decisions, and hopefully we continue to do so.
Yeah, this giant leap forward is not terrifying at all. It's fine.
I have not gone back yet today to see how much your whiskey collection has grown since the grand opening.
It's quite lovely.
You were telling me about it.
Yeah, I'm not upset about it. There were some very lovely bottles gifted, and thank you to everybody who's listening that gave us those bottles. They will be enjoyed.
Yeah, I can only imagine how busy you guys have been, just because I've been around quite a bit in the transitional process, and I'm busy when I'm here. And I don't work here, don't do anything.
People are just like, Brian, go to work. Get to work. Get at it.
And we appreciate that.
Hey,
I love free labor.
it's just crazy how busy it was last Friday. You said it was the busiest day you guys have ever had.
Yep, it was. I'm still a little bit in shell shock after this past Friday and Saturday. It was a lot. It was good. It was a great.
I think we
great
actually
couple of
took.
days,
I
but-
think we took in as much on Friday as we did in all of the month of February.
wow.
I think everybody was saving themselves. I think they knew that we were in a transitional period, and even though we tried to hide it a little bit, but I think people were holding off. And then as soon as the weather broke, I mean, it was between Friday, it was the biggest 7 days, and Friday was hands down the biggest day we've ever done since March of 20.
Wheels up.
Yeah, it was
The
pretty.
plane is taking off.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
That was a extremely stressful day on my part.
As you were here. Yeah.
It was Courtney, my significant other. First day she was allowed to go out and do anything, and I had a very strict 6 o'clock dinner time, and it was her first real meal out in like 2 years because she's been on a feeding tube.
Sure.
And my second slowest friend, who drags his feet more than anyone else I know, was buying a bike in here that day and waited till you were at your peak busyness to have you
okay.
guys all jump through a whole bunch of hoops.
That's okay.
to
That's all right. That's why we're here. We're
get
here
a bike out.
We're here to make people happy on their bikes. That's our job. So that was perfectly fine.
So define a busy day. What's the most common thing that people come in? Are they looking for new bikes? Is it maintenance of old bikes? Is it
Beer from the fridge.
yeah?
All of the above.
Yes, all of the above.
Especially
Okay.
now that we're closer to the trail again, there's a lot more like, I just got a flat tire. Can you help me out? And, we're not going to tell people that they have to leave their bikes here for 2 weeks while we get around to changing a flat that takes like 5-10 minutes, right? So
Yeah, we had our usual regulars who are pretty diehard, so they're not intimidated by the traffic that we had up at Family Fair Plaza, and so a lot of those guys are like doing their the rides out of the shop, and then they're finishing up, drinking beer, hanging out. So we'd see them on the regular. We obviously see them on the regular now because we're closer to all of them. But our first Saturday we saw people off the trail, and then this past weekend we probably saw more people coming into the shop off the trail than what we'd see in 2 or 3 years at the old location. So
That's some good proof of concept on your location choice right there.
we originally were looking at where Eastern Keel is, but it was a little bit more to bite off. It was 16 acres. I think per square footage cost was definitely a little bit lower, but yeah, 16 acres, we didn't need it, and it was more topographically challenged. We happened upon this. This was our broker actually decided to go to church at Bridgeway. Hasn't been to a different church in 5 years, and
He was trying to get his wife to go there for 5 years, and she finally acquiesced. And then, when they were driving there was no for sale sign here. And then when they left about an hour later, there was the owner had
little handwritten sign, and he texts me on Sunday after, and he said, "Hey, I saw this." Sends me a picture of the for sale sign. He says, "I think this is perfect." And on Monday, his name is George too. He went in, and
with your permission.
yeah, with my permission, and signed a letter of intent, and we put in an offer, and yeah, got the ball rolling. So yeah, a year after we opened, we acquired the property.
It's amazing how that kind of stuff just falls into place.
It was divine intervention.
The same
ever
thing
there
happened
was.
with our
Right.
Bentonville stuff. Like, I went down there, I had all these ideas, and they all fell apart. I got stuck in a rainstorm and ended up by something that wasn't listed for sale, and I was like, this is on the trail. This is literally the perfect thing. And within 3 days, we owned it.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, funny thing about his wife, who did not want to go to that church, she finally said, yes, okay, we'll go. She did not like it.
It was
I
one
really
and done.
think that visit was just for us, to be honest. Yeah. Thank you, George.
So when we first sat down, you mentioned, if there's ever challenges in your life, try building a place, and then you'll find out what real challenges are like. Talk to us about some of the painful points. What did you guys have to go through in order to make this place a reality?
Preferably funny ones. Let's start with funny ones.
We learned how you didn't get a
Looking-
shower installed.
Yeah.
I mean,
not happy about
colonoscopies
that.
are always funny. I mean, it's basically a financial colonoscopy. And
Yeah, we definitely had a lot of hoops to jump through with the bank that is on the east side of the state, that they really challenged our builders in ways that they'd never experienced before. So that was not funny at all, but it was frustrating. And I think I have to go buy somebody a gift card to a spa, to be honest with you, as an apology. But
sworn statements, those are horrible. They're these horrible things that you have to fill out every time there's a draw. And in the beginning, we actually didn't close on our loan until October. So we were approved for the loan, and they broke ground
while we were in France.
while we were in France,
Yeah.
seeing the tour and the start of the Olympics. So for me, that was pretty nerve-wracking. And as they continue to do this stuff, well, they needed to be paid. So we had to start paying them, and then it started turning into, well, we've paid out this
We're
much.
running out of money.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden this beast called the sworn statement rears its head, where we have to account for everything that we've spent, everything that the contractors spent, and then the forms between us have to line up. And
They already know what the number is, right?
So it's just like taxes.
Yeah, it's like the
We-
taxes in
we
the
know
IRS.
we know how much you owe,
They
but we need
already
you
know.
to figure it out.
We just want you to prove to us that
the business
tell-
loan
just
specialist,
tell me
you
what
know,
you
she
wanna
speaks in parables like Yoda. And she's absolutely horrible. Well, no, you have to think about it from this and da da da, and I don't know what any of this is, and I'm trying to explain
I'm
to her
not an
that
accountant.
we're running a business. We're not real estate moguls. This isn't something that we're, plan to, continue on in the future. So it was rough. I mean, if we wouldn't have gone on that vacation and just were able to disconnect completely for 13 days, I don't know if we'd be sitting here right now.
In that vacation, it was on my list of things to ask you guys about. It started out very not stressful, right?
No, not at all.
You did the one thing that everyone's scared of that travels international. Why don't you tell us about your trip to the airport?
Yeah, George.
Our first time in Europe was
Your first time.
my first time in Europe. She's been a lot. My first time was in 2016. So I was laboring under the misapprehension that is when I acquired my passport.
Wrong.
I'm aware that they last for 10 years, but I was as we found out when we got to the airport after spending a few days, both of us trying to check in.
on the Delta app, you know. You
Yeah,
can
we're
track
trying to check in, and it's just like, no,
Something went
can't do
wrong.
it. Something went wrong. Something went wrong. Well, as soon as I show up and I'm trying to use the stand-in kiosk, and I'm scanning my passport, and I'm like, what's going on here? What's going on? Someone comes over, and they're like, passport is expired.
You know that lady on Meet the Parents, the Delta flight attendant on Meet the Parents, where she's like, "Sir, you can't say bomb on an airplane," or whatever. She was just like that character on Meet the Parents. She was awful. She was rude. She was so unsympathetic.
So your passport was expired. How did you still make it on the plane?
My wife, Kate, she.
I had a meltdown for 30 seconds. Then I
I'm
called the State
I'm freaking out.
Department.
I obviously called my lawyer right away, just to get it out there that something horrible has happened, and I wanted
Because
to
we
make
were
sure
supposed
that
to meet
someone would
him
know
there.
if I just disappeared. And he basically told me to do
What I was already doing.
what she was already doing on the other phone. I was crying inside, and I literally thought I was going to die.
Well, there was a
The whole car
high
ride, we
probability that
had,
you were going to.
you could get to the Detroit airport and probably, when we on the way home, we were able to get home, I think, in 2 hours. But on the way there, the choices that I made to get there, it was about a 5.5 hour journey of silence, no radio, gripping the steering wheel.
I mean, I was
and
on
looking
the
straight
phone with
forward.
Delta trying to get tickets for the next day's flight. We ended up having to downgrade our seats, which is the first time I ever upgraded seats, right? I've always just, Coach, I'm going to do it this time.
We're
It's a
going
long flight,
Comfort
right?
Plus. We are going Comfort Plus.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
No, and we were flying out of like
Out of Grand Rapids.
like grown-ups. We were going to park our car cheap for $14 a day, only to end up having to park our car in Detroit.
Get a hotel.
Get a hotel.
Pay for expedition of said passport, and then I don't even
Dealing
know.
with a State Department, and then we barely just made it to the airport in time. And
So you got a new passport in basically overnight?
one day.
yeah, one day.
Like,
No
yeah, we had to,
way.
Yes,
the
life
fact that-
hack. You can go to Chicago. You can go to Detroit,
Detroit is,
New York. Obviously, I would
and I think
But-
LA. There are only like 4 places, but Detroit. During COVID, that was not a thing. You could not. I mean,
Well, mine took weeks to get when I.
yeah, but
Yeah,
you-
it typically takes
But
weeks.
you didn't have to have an emergency, like, oh my God, what am I gonna do, kind of situation. So that's why that exists, right? But
Yeah, we basically had to buy the tickets, and we just barely made it. We had to,
Yeah, we-
show intent of
we had to buy new
flying and
tickets.
explain so they, would accommodate, because otherwise they could have just been like, sorry.
yeah, we had to buy new tickets, crossing your fingers that he was actually gonna get approved for it too. Which,
That's wild.
yeah. Well,
But you guys made it.
we made it.
We did.
and it was awesome. Our hotel was right within like 200 meters of the finish line of the tour in Nice.
Yeah, we got to see everybody go right past it. It was great.
Didn't you get to ride the last stage or something like that? Or did some of the people
He-
with
he
you?
would've if
Yeah, the
he
people that we were with did.
rented a bike.
Once again, with my poor planning, definitely going to be a little bit more astute moving forward in my travel plans. But I thought that I'd be fine trying to rent a bike in June for the Tour de France in July, with also the Olympics going on and
Laughable.
all these. Yeah. So needless to say, I did not. I was going to I tried to get a bike case, but the bike case I wanted, I couldn't get. And, well, I'll tell you what, when I got over there and after taking the train and, everything is so much smaller there, the stairways, elevators,
the
et cetera,
elevators.
I would have left my bike there.
I mean,
I don't even know if it would have made it to Nice. I would have just, thrown it on the street in Paris. I would just been like, nope, I'm done with this. This is not fun.
I
This
might
is
have just
horrible.
left you on the street in Paris with your bike, to be honest with you. Have you guys ever been on an elevator in France? It's like this. You're supposed to, they say it's good for like 2 people, but it's right with your
2
suit-
people that like each other a lot.
Well,
Yeah.
I
That's how Austria was. It
I
was-
still love him. I just wasn't really liking him for a second. But, no, but trying to get just you and your little suitcases in these elevators that are meant for 2 people. I'm like,
They don't
in
really
what?
accommodate plus size there at all.
Yes.
What were some of the highlights on the trip of things you got to do or see that? I'm sure you had stuff planned out, but some of the best stuff usually just kind of shows up out of circumstance.
It was an interesting trip. Okay, come on.
boy. We've got a basset hound climbing all four. Yes.
Yeah. I don't think we've mentioned this yet, but we're recording from the bike shop. That was the compressor you heard in the background earlier, and the dogs.
There's 3 dogs in here.
And they're all good boys and girls.
So I started my line of questioning around the bike shop by asking you what the hardest parts were. What's been the most rewarding, like the most fulfilling part of owning an integral part of a community?
I'll say that I think the most fun part is like when the little kids get their first or second bike and they're just like geeked to just like get out and grip it and rip it. And, the smile on a kid's face is just like, you can't put a price tag on that. The joy that they have. Also, like getting to pick out the bells with them is pretty awesome.
Bikes are magic.
They are. They are magical, which is why we have our unicorn t-shirts.
I almost wore mine today. It was dirty.
Yeah, my kid got his first bike from you guys at your old shop, the Trek Roscoe.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah.
such a rad little bike.
Yeah, for his first real bike with gears and that, he loves that thing, and he loves coming to your bike shop mostly to pet the dogs and then look at bikes. It's always dogs first, then look at bikes. But yeah, he loves bikes. And he loves that bike too.
Yes, the dogs are what tricks people coming, right?
Yeah, yeah, but he always wants to come check out those bikes, and he loves that thing he got from you guys.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, I like contributing to making the sport more accessible. I think when I got into it 30 years ago, most of the people that worked in a bike shop were either elitist or curmudgeon. I was one of those. I was, I was. If it wasn't for
Both
her,
at the
I
age of
probably,
13.
I probably still would be. But to see the possibility with the sport and see people actually walk in with a smile and not kind of feel freaked out and like, I don't know if I belong
Judged,
here. Or how do I get out of here? What are they going to think about the bike I'm rolling in? And we've just, coming from the small shop that we spent so much time at, we just wanted to create an environment. That's why we do our happy hour. We just want people to be happy, and it's about getting more butts on bikes.
And engaging with the community.
Yep, engaging with the community. And I think moving forward, I think that's something that is going to be a big part of what bike shops are going to have to do. I mean, there's so many other options with the direct-to-consumer brands, and if you're a shop full of a bunch of elitists and people that think that if they're intimidating people aren't going to come into the bike shop anymore. They're going to order everything online. They're like, you know what? If I want to be treated like a jerk, well, I don't. So I'm just going to get it somewhere else. Or they're going to go to, a mobile shop. And I've seen, I think, with bringing Bob Hammond on from Common Bond, I've seen a new group of clientele that I think that they've been disenfranchised with the typical bike shop experience. And because of the trust in him, that he's a very compassionate and, a person that listens. And I think that's what we have to do. And it frustrates me sometimes when I hear some of these stories from other people's experiences because, well, it hurts everybody's opportunity. They get one bad experience at, shop X, and then all of a sudden they're like, why am I going to go to a shop again? And, I think that's kind of the biggest thing that we're trying to do here. And that's, why we continue to try to do things with music, et cetera, because we want people to think, oh, wait, cycling's cool. Cycling's rad. All these people have fun, and then they get to meet other people that do it. And
Yeah, I think just having that community element to it is a big thing. I'm just having people here for happy hour or the little jam sessions you have. Just you can come in, hang out, and be a part of the community. You don't have to buy something every time you're here, but just getting that community together and not being intimidated to, come buy a bike every time they're here or something.
100%.
Yep.
And you've got Captain Positivity on the other side working on bikes too.
Absolutely.
Also a former guest, Craig Geetson.
Yeah.
Yep. He's great. He's getting older, and he's not going to be doing it for much longer. But he definitely continues to, help other people, feel comfortable about getting into bikes and continuing to ride them, etc. I think it's definitely, community is going to be the thing moving forward, and I think we're seeing that in all other industries.
So you're in position A, I would say, being right off the bike trail. Like that is where the general consumer is going to discover the shop, maybe come in if they have an issue. I wonder if you put signs or something along the trail, if that even be allowed, but
It's not.
it's not. So all the people that have stopped in have been organic. They've
Yes.
just heard
Yes.
about it.
Now it's funny. We actually had the first time when we were just employees at the shop in downtown Rockford. When we made our leap, we had so many people saying, "No one's going to find you. It's probably going to take a year," and da da da. And then on top of that, we had COVID, and that just wasn't the case. And anyone that
Great timing to open a bike
No,
shop.
it's funny,
2 weeks
I
before COVID shut the whole world down.
I had so many people say, "Oh, hey, I'm not on social media. I didn't know that you were having a big event." And we're actually kind of thankful that we didn't advertise more, because to everyone that was here for the opening, it was borderline out of hand. I think we I think we
violated fire code.
yeah, I think we exceeded our occupation capacity.
They can't find us after the fact.
So yeah, I think any more cars up and down the street would have been untenable. So it worked out fine enough. So
Yeah.
And hopefully after the party, it spilled over and helped the other businesses, so they could be like, yes, these guys are great.
I know it did.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned happy hour a couple times. How does that work here? Do you guys have a liquor license, or can you sell, or how's that work?
It is BYOB
Okay, BYOB.
for now, but we
So-
have been.
So you're not actually selling alcohol, it's BYOB for now.
yeah, that would be problematic.
Yeah, that's-
no. We
Cannot BYOB if you're selling, but no, we are.
we have a community fridge.
Okay,
Yes, but we will be working on getting a beer and wine license.
nice.
Yeah,
Let
we
me
kind
get
of
this
learned.
all unpacked first.
Yeah,
and then-
baby steps. I mean, we were trying to do it simultaneously to have it lined up for the opening. After everything that we were going through with the lender, and then there's a separate period of time where you have a construction loan before it rolls into a regular loan mortgage. So all these sworn statements, all of this stuff, the stress became just unmanageable. So it was like, okay, what's important here? Where are we going to, how much bandwidth do we have? And at 49, I don't have nearly the amount that I used to. So it kind of, and
Don't
the
put the
wisdom
baby
of
trailer in front of the bike.
the wisdom of my wife. Yeah, prioritize what we have to execute, and kind of do that. So now we're kind of we're in the building. We got to this point. Now, more than anything, we got to make sure that we have a letter of intent or signed lease, and then once we have that, then having that conversation about investing in the beer wine becomes more tenable.
I mean, I'm not a legal expert, but I don't think you can get a specialty beer and wine license before you have a finished building.
He's got to make some hooch in the back.
Yep.
Make
yep.
Katie's special blend.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's-
Katie's special blend is expensive.
Well, yeah, you can't expect everything to be ready when you first open. There's a lot to
No.
all that, but
It'll
you
be
kind
ready in
of
the
add on
summer.
as you go. Like, all right, we got this completed. Now what's next? And this could probably take a couple of years to be where you want to be, but you'll get there eventually.
No, I think we finally figured out how to navigate our tiny space and continue to make it work
Our tiny space.
that we were in prior to
which is
this.
2.5 times bigger.
And at one point, it finally became very comfortable. And now, well, I could probably make it through the day and only get about 1,200 steps at the at 1.0. 2.0, it's a 6,000 step day without trying.
Speak for yourself.
Well, I get to stand and work on bikes and be
So
stationary
I just
for
got
a little bit.
Jolene the dog version of a Fitbit that I fired up today.
Oh, it goes on her collar?
Yep.
Oh, I
And-
saw some zoomies.
Yeah.
Jolene is how old?
She will be 4 in June.
Fruit stand, I will
Four-year-old
say,
Basset Hound, right?
Yep. Yep. She is not the basset I was looking for, but I love her. She's great. But no, she's at like 25,000 steps right now for the day.
George described her as an agility basset.
She is absolutely an agility basset. Yep.
They were some of the best zoomies I've ever seen.
She's she's pretty epic.
She left me a little poopy, a
Oh,
little poopy present earlier.
what a surprise! Yeah.
She was just excited to see you.
Right when they're having a rush too. Like, oh, look
That's how it always happens.
look
I
at
mean,
all these
every time.
customers.
It's not like I didn't take her out 8 times today.
And how old is the other one?
He is 7.
7, 4 and 7.
And some change. Yeah. Yeah.
So those are the two Basset hounds you can see when you come and check out the bike shop.
Absolutely. Yep. They are our mascots.
And Jackson's back full time.
Jackson is back full time.
He was part time for a little bit there.
Yeah, they're both very nice dogs. They don't know me, and I sat down here to kind of get stuff set up, and he curled right up on my lap, and
Yeah.
Like-
he is the ultimate lap dog.
He's got surprisingly bony elbows for a Basset hound.
Mm.
Yeah, my leg was.
My
Feeling it.
exposure to Bassets was very limited before him, so I can't really speak to that. But
So in the state of Michigan, I think we have kind of a unique opportunity in terms of our bike industry. We've got like multiple different disciplines that tend to thrive amongst one another. Is there one, I guess, area of focus for you guys, or do you do everything? And I'm thinking gravel, road, cross country. If you're talking to this crew over here on this couch, we care a lot about enduro and downhill. But is there one particular category that you see the most business from or interest?
It's got a lot of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, like you've got the rails to trails literally right across the street. We will not talk about the path that is technically trespassing that you can get to Merrill from. Right there.
I have no idea that exists, and don't you dare look at Strava heat
Yeah.
maps.
Don't
not on
ever
the
look
heat
at
map.
that.
It will
It's
never,
not-
ever be
it's
on
not
heat
a
maps.
thing. Nope.
Don't ride it.
Don't do it.
I like
But-
gravel. Gravel's pretty amazing. The gravel around here is
And the gravel.
is pretty next level.
Oh, I was just reading an article yesterday. It was a British cycling magazine, and the guy's like, I regret buying a gravel bike. And then he started going on and on about how the gravel roads in North Hampshire or wherever he's from were garbage, just like swamp roads. And he's like, this isn't like the Midwest where the gravel is pristine and awesome. I mean, this really is a mecca for gravel. We've got great mountain bike trails. We've got great rails to trails. You really can't go wrong. I mean, enduro maybe not be so much.
We
Definitely.
make
We can
do.
make it work. Yeah, we can accommodate.
What kind of bikes do you guys personally own and ride the most?
I have an ice cream bike. It's the Electra Loft. If I'm being honest, it's actually a bourbon bike. However, I call it my just roll it down the hill to our local watering hole, and I am the casual one. This one here, he's got a stable of very beautiful bikes, though.
Some
Yeah, I got-
unique colors.
Yeah, I got a gravel. I
I
think
get
I
to
ride
pick
that the
most of
most.
them
I have a single speed now. I never thought that would happen. And mountain bike. I wish I could learn how to ride one.
Now that you
And-
have this is settling in, we can take you out like we talked about years ago before you took on a giant project.
yeah, right. Teach me how to ride berms and stuff like that. Every time I get myself into that mess, I feel like my body's going one way, the bike's trying to do something else. I used to race. I grew up, my pedigree was road racing, and I think about the things that I used to do in criteriums at super high speeds, even in the rain. And navigating the blue at Luton is problematic for me at times.
I think exactly the opposite. You give me a downhill trail with rocks, drops, fast, high-speed stuff, cool. You put me in a pack of dudes going 40 miles an hour,
Scary.
I'm terrified.
One flick of a wheel, you're gone.
Yeah, they all give me crap about coming to Grattan with you guys and like doing the ride. I'm like, hell no.
No, I grew up. Grattan was awesome. I mean, yeah, that was bumping elbows, all that kind of stuff. Do it all day long. It was great. I don't know how I feel about doing it now. I'm not the same person at 49. Things I jump off of on my snowboard are definitely not as high as they used to be, but maybe that's a function about how much I do it. So I don't know.
So how'd you both get into riding?
Katie,
Okay.
you're hiding behind your mic screen. Go on, you first.
Okay, I will. My mom bought me my first like legit bike from West Michigan, and I was not allowed to ride it anywhere except our driveway because we lived on a super busy country street, and you know, people driving like country bumpkins going 90 miles an hour. She's like, no. So I didn't really get into it. And then 2 months after I got it, my brother was at the age where he's like, I want to learn how to take things apart. And then he didn't put it back together. So I really did not ride bikes until after I met George.
That's because your bike was in pieces.
Yep. Yep. So, but I'm more of the casual side of things, right? And George has been racing since you were like 12 or something.
Yeah, I think like late 80s I got into it.
Breaking Away spoke to you.
It's, you know, Howard Cosell, ABC, like, you know,
The world of sports.
Yeah, world of sports. You see clips of like the Tour de France, Greg LeMond and Eddie Merckx, and for some reason I was just drawn to it, and then started working in a bike shop. Started racing, started working in a bike shop, and yeah, somehow I ended up here. I mean, before I went off to U of M in '98, I actually swore I wasn't going to have anything to do with bikes anymore. I didn't want to work in a bike shop, et cetera, and yeah, somehow here I am. It's it's been a crazy journey.
So you had a racing career.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, I have some junior state championships to my pedigree.
That's not nothing.
Yeah, Criterium Racing. I made a little bit of money at it. Been a sponsored rider, but yeah, finally, you know, parents were, no, this isn't a career path. You can do it after college. Well, we all know that that's not how it goes. You either choose the path of full send, or it's really there's no send after that. So,
Do you have a race result that kind of sticks in your head as being, I don't know, the most fun, the most memorable?
you know, I was kind of a soulless racer. I liked racing and I liked winning, but the winning was kind of the drug. And I sadly, when I look back on my racing career, there was nothing that really stood out. I just know it's still hard. There's still a part of me. It's hard to enjoy having fun because I'm always thinking podium. I mean, the last a few years ago, I was like, okay, age group now. I'm going to podium at Iceman, and was putting a lot of work in. I was leading all my gravel rides on my mountain bike and ended up hurting my back. And then I was like, well, I'm not doing Iceman. And people were like, just go out for fun. I'm like, nope. If I can't get on the podium, not doing it.
I get
and
it.
It stinks. It sounds stupid, and makes me feel like a jerk as I'm getting older, and my testosterone levels wane a little bit. But yeah, it's just road cycling is a different breed. You grow up in it, and I didn't want to have anything to do with mountain bikes back then, and gravel would have just seemed stupid to me. And now I like gravel. I like the fun. I like the camaraderie. But yeah, I've definitely evolved as a cyclist.
But you're not doing Mid-South anytime soon.
No one did this.
No, right? Sorry, boys.
No,
And girls.
I agree with you. I know a lot of people just can't turn that competitive off, and for them, it's tough.
Yeah.
Tough just to go out and have fun and not be competitive.
Yep.
I know a lot of road
I am the
bike
best
people are
at
like
not
that.
being competitive.
I think you just won a competition.
I own a road bike that has won a state championship. I didn't ride it, but it's won it. It wasn't me riding it when it did it.
Who was riding it?
I don't know, some youth state champion guy I bought it off of, and its current home sits on a Zwift trainer. That's how it's retired, is being Zwifted all the time. But it's a championship bike, just it wasn't me.
There are a few of those floating around. It's okay. Yeah.
You host a ride, don't you, on Sundays?
Yes, Sunday Gravelation out of the Boswick.
Dirt Church.
Yep, dirt church, if you will. I mean, there's depending on who shows up. If you're not a religious person, you may find yourself asking for God, you know, either to smite the people on the ride for attacking, or
Seeking
hopefully helping
salvation.
you to
Make it home.
navigate back home. Because, well, when I lead it, I have no route in mind other than I kind of will think about the wind direction. If I'm feeling good about myself as a human being and not being self-deprecating, we'll kind of head into the wind, so we got a nice tailwind on the way back. If it's one of those days where I'm feeling fat and slow, I usually head out with the wind, so I feel nice and good, only to turn around and
Get a flat tire.
get dropped on my own ride. Yeah.
Get picked up.
That
But it's
doesn't
it's
happen.
great. We finished
That
up
does
at the
not happen.
Boswick. I mean, we had not this past week, but the week prior, it was cold as all get out, and we had 13 riders out, and most of them hung out, and
My neighbor there,
drinking mimosas. And
did James Olson make it?
James did not. No.
Oh no.
And I've seen him on the Thursday night ride. I have not yet to see him on.
Oh, he invites me to Sunday ones, and I'm
Well,
like,
we might need to call him out on that. Where are you at, James?
Yeah, James, where are you?
Where are you, James?
yeah, he like joined our Thursday night ride group for our Zwifting, and then never showed up. Popped in for a second and then bailed. You
He
little.
was very excited about his new warbird.
He's excited about that. We have a little trail that connects our neighborhood to the Cannon Township Trail, and it was muddy, and he left tire tracks the other day, and I sent pictures and told him that the police were after him.
Shame. Shame.
Like, I
Going
know
after
who's
him
got
with a-
gravel tires on this road. It's not me.
Can only be one.
I might know a few people around there that have those, but
Not on our road. Him and Courtney are the only two on gravel bikes.
I'm blaming Courtney. Just kidding.
I'm gonna tell her.
She might hear it.
No. We can say anything we want about her. She'll never hear it.
So I'm looking around your bike shop here.
The best brand ever.
Yeah. What I see you sell Trek, and what other brands are your?
Are there other brands, really?
So we have Electra, which technically is owned by Trek, but that's their, as I call it, the ice cream collection. And we did just pick up Ibis.
Oh, that's awesome.
We have yet to order anything that was super recent. So we're still working on that, but getting an order together.
And we are a salsa dealer.
And salsa.
Yeah,
yeah.
we're a salsa dealer. We were working on having more of a presence at this point, but the QVP, their distributor owner, it was a very difficult transition. Everyone else was kind of, including Trek, which Trek, in their defense, if you're going to become a Trek dealer,
got a lot of
they're
hoops to
they're
jump
pretty
through.
thorough. We were actually at CABDA in 2020. The funny thing is, we heard everybody coughing, so this is right before COVID. 'Cause
Oh my gosh.
basically, it's 2 weeks before we open. We're at the show. Everybody's just coughing and hacking. Everybody's walking around looking sick. And then, 2 weeks after we open, we're basically asked to shut down. But we were walking around thinking, oh my goodness,
If these are our
what
options.
we're going to have to pay attention to these other brands. But I think by like 1 o'clock, our rep called us and he said, okay, you're set up with Trek. Here's your, this is what your credit limit is, and you guys are set to go.
We've been
And then all of a sudden, we
waiting.
just
We have
like
been
turned
waiting.
off for the rest of the show. It was like, oh no, we're going to, yeah, we're good. It didn't,
We've
we
been
got
waiting
one
for that
brand
phone
to,
call.
yeah, we were waiting for it.
And then they did not open any more dealers after COVID because they were like, nope, because it was just. I'm sure they've opened more since, but like during COVID, we just got in under the wire.
And you guys got to capitalize on that absolute boom that was COVID.
Yep.
Well,
Yes.
sort
Okay.
of. We were a little bit more proactive because we had all these like personal promissory notes to very wonderful lenders, but like it was a lot of money, and we're like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. So everyone else was at home waiting for the 2 weeks for the curve to flatten, right? We were still going in because I still had dealer apps to fill out and insurance stuff to work out, and I was looking at inventory levels. And when I say we were there, the doors were not open. Just saying. But I was watching inventory levels plummet and all these ETAs getting pushed out further and further and further. And I'm like,
Back order.
back order. Because Trek, it is first ordered, first served. Not like, oh, you've been open the longest, so you get priority treatment. It's just
No, it was a trying time. But no, the short of it was, after we were established with Trek, when we did our address change for here, it was like, boom. Everything else, boom. Yeah, for some reason, QBP, sorry to say bad about you, but was very disappointed.
Yeah,
we would have had a
Bierman,
lot of
get your poop in a
salsas in here. But nope, didn't happen. And now we're slow rolling on that just because, I don't know, at this point, we're tired of spending money. It's a funny thing that a bill will do to you.
But then we're going to build a house in 5 years.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's funny because it's true.
So where does the future take us? What, I guess, is there a category of bikes that is the most commonly bought as somebody's new bike? Or I guess, where do you see the future going?
Back to your previous question, I mean, we're in the middle of so much. I'd say it's mostly casual mountain bikes, but a lot of gravel. E-bikes are definitely on the rise, for sure.
Yeah, Trek is actually forecasting that by 2030, e-bikes will be 35% of what is sold in most shops.
And in Europe already, it's 70% of Trek's market
I mean,
is e-bikes.
everyone on this couch would like an e-bike.
I keep getting one for myself and I sell it before I take it home.
I'm just too worried about my weight. I know if I get an e-bike, I'm going to gain even more pounds.
Or you'll ride more.
Nope, you'll actually ride
will
more.
ride
You'll
more.
spend more time on the bike.
I stand corrected.
There's people that
Stanford and I think Harvard have both done studies on e-bikes that have shown, okay, and this is excluding the ones with the throttles, right? But you might not be getting that same high level of cardio. Okay, guys, don't quote me on who did that study, but I think I definitely was.
There is hand waving going on.
I'm a hand waver. I talk with my hands. Okay. Anyway, so you might not be getting the same high level of cardiovascular exercise, but you're going longer, so you're still burning calories without being like, this is horrible. Just, I mean, and it helps
Reaching
with the hills.
that point where you don't want to do it anymore. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I get
And-
that.
And I disagree with that study and say that when I'm on an e-bike, the fact that I can go so much faster than normal,
Well, you
my
just push yourself.
testosterone level just goes up.
You just hulk out.
Yes,
It's just like-
my average heart rate on an e-bike is higher than my average
Brian
bike on
Hulk.
my.
there you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
I got in a giant argument at Cabernet with this dude about it. I'm like, have you ever ridden an e-bike? He's like, no. So I
No,
actually posted
bro.
posted my first meme about people that hate on e-bikes that have never ridden one. And I was like, how can you hate it? Like, he's like, oh, it's for fat, lazy people. I'm like, I'm skinnier and less lazy than you, and I want one.
They're so fun, and it also really brings couples together, like older couples. Like maybe, the husband is more fit, or maybe the wife is more fit.
I
and
live
then-
in this household.
And then they, they're like, well, I want to ride a bike with you. I mean, honestly, I don't have the same fitness that George does, and once every 3 or 4 years, we try to go on a ride, and I've got my little single speed or my ice cream bike, and he's got his 12-pound road bike, and he's literally doing loops around me.
Yep.
And I'm just getting sweaty and pissed off and frustrated. Well, he's just like, la 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 la. I'm gonna go for a real ride after this. And-
You're not supposed to say that out loud.
That's a brutal thing to hear when you're dying.
That was me projecting. What he did not say that, but no. But it's very frustrating. If I can just jump on an e-bike and be like, I don't have to punish myself, but I'd really like to enjoy, even if it's like for 5 or 10 miles, right? I mean, it's just something that. I mean, we are in this shop all the time together, and we're always talking about bikes and selling bikes, but I would really love to enjoy riding a bike with him, but I don't have I don't have the fitness that he does.
What
So
if we taught you how to do berms and put you on an e-mountain bike? And
I
then you
like
could
my-
dust him.
I really like my teeth, and I have a deep-seated fear
We said
of,
teach you how to do it, not teach you how to not do it.
I got stories for days about that, but the teeth part.
I happen to know a very good female coach
Yeah.
on an e-bike who will be operational for being able to ride bicycles again in about a month and a half.
Oh, I think I've met her before.
You have. You sold her some shoes.
Yeah.
She tried to buy an e-bike for you guys, but
COVID.
So e-bikes totally transformed my trip to Europe last summer. So girlfriend and I
Where
went
did
to
you go?
Switzerland.
Oh,
No, tell
see
them
Taylor
the real
Swift.
story.
These guys will not let that go. So the original genesis for the
Well.
trip was, in fact, Taylor Swift tickets that my girlfriend decided we were going,
total Swiftie.
bought
right here.
tickets, and was like, "Oh, I guess we have to go fly across
I
the
mean,
world."
it literally was cheaper to buy tickets and fly over there.
So people say that.
I mean,
does
if you
not, in
know,
fact-
if you know where to stay.
It doesn't necessarily hold water when you do 11 days
Yeah, that's true. I can see
and
that.
rent a car.
Well, okay, that if you
But-
flew there just for the concert, hung out for a day or two, I mean, it would be
That could.
exhausting. However,
That could work. But we are so unbelievably happy and grateful that we went
we
around
went to
the entire
Switzerland.
country, went everywhere. And one of the places we went was Zermatt, in which they do not have traditional cars anywhere. And if you walk from one end of the city to the other, it's about 50 minutes in order to get there.
That's
and
not
so
terrible.
as soon as we got off the train into the city, we rented mountain bikes, and Shannon the whole time was like, "What are we doing? Why we don't need these?" It took about 5 minutes for her to go, "This is incredible. We get to buzz past all these people walking. We throw them on a gondola. We take them up into the high alpine, and then you just you cruise trails and enjoy the views." So I totally get the access, and like it opens up the world to people, really.
Absolutely.
I will say though, the last time we were over, I'm like, all of the e-bikes, all of the scooters, all of the different e-things. No one's staying. Literally, no one is staying in their lane, right? Like,
That's how
They just-
Bentonville is.
I mean,
Remember that?
like, you know, as a pedestrian, I'm like, I'm staying in the lane where it has the little walkie stick figure, right? They don't care. They just come whipping around corners, and I know this is not just a European thing, but right, they're like on their phones or they're texting while they're riding, and I'm like, it was mass chaos. And I feel like in Nice we saw at least 4 people get almost hit by trams.
I thought I just saw an
Which-
article somewhere saying it's illegal to be on your phone and ride your bike now somewhere.
Well,
I
I mean,
don't,
it's a
You know,
motor vehicle. I mean, technically,
it's
right?
Thank goodness. That makes sense.
just because it's illegal doesn't mean
Unless
it's
you're chasing
enforced.
Pokemon, then it's perfectly fine.
Oh yeah, no, that's the only exception is Pokemon chasing.
No, the cargo throttle e-bikes in Bentonville have become a major problem on the Razorback Greenway because they can't slow down, stop, or steer very well, but they go 30.
As much as I want to tell you that I hate those, I really want a Trek Fetch.
So Trek Fetch is their cargo e-bike.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. They've got 2 different versions. One has a bucket for a couple of kids, and then there's another.
A Basset Hounds?
Well, I mean, kids. Basset Hounds are my kids.
You could ride that back and forth to work with the little puppers.
I sure could if I wanted to.
Some doggles on, their big old ears flopping in the wind.
I mean,
Yeah, Kate, we should do that and make for a great reel.
Uh-oh.
We got a T-shirt coming out.
There we go.
Get in, punk. Rockford Bike Shop.
Trouble
Trouble
ain't
ain't
gonna
gonna make itself.
Andy's got doggles on in the t-shirt.
If you want that T-shirt,
Come
you
down
need
and
to
buy
head on
one.
into Rockford Bike Shop.
And make sure you do not take one of Jake Lombardo's bush lights out of the fridge.
it is a community fridge. Once beer goes in, it is open season.
I heard the bush lights got a little bit of penalty if you take too many.
Listen, it's not Blanton's, okay?
No, the pre-party, I made sure I brought Jake a bunch of tall boys.
Well, he has definitely donated enough bush to the community fridge that it's fair. Although, we've bought him enough too.
Well, I think we're right about an hour, so that's about perfect timing.
What's got you excited coming up here in the
You
next...
opened in the perfect time for the warm weather warm up and getting into spring for some snow on Thursday.
Okay, I'm going to say what I'm excited about.
Shoot.
That's the deck debut party that we're going to be having when the weather stabilizes. We have yet to determine a date. Brian, I know if you've seen it. I don't know if you two have seen our big old deck.
I haven't yet.
Show me your deck.
I will show you our big deck.
Or deck pics.
You want to see it? Yeah. We can send you some deck pics.
Make sure you get the angle so it looks extra long.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fantastic. I actually wanted to say earlier, like, man, we should have sat outside to do this.
No, I'm excited about the deck. I'm excited about live music. We were doing live
yes,
music
we'll
at
be-
the other location. We didn't do it last year because we were bursting at the seams. We had bike boxes, repairs all over the sales floor.
But
I'm so happy that people continue to be patient with us. And I kind of before we opened, I was kind of freaking out, and then I realized that people know that we're kind of a mess, but a good mess that
but
sets them straight. So
hopefully, Mackenzie Woodring, old school road racer, she has a
The Silverado
fantastic band called the Silverado Band. It's a generational band.
Do you have a place you post this stuff, like a website or that they can check dates, find upcoming events?
Wouldn't that be nice if we had a website that was easily
Facebook is the best way to
editable?
get
Yes,
everything
Facebook.
that we do.
Yeah. Yep, Facebook.
It actually kind of is a good crowd control for those people that absolutely refuse to use it. We find Facebook very good for social media, not so much.
Considering the age of most of our clientele, that's
I'm more of an Instagram guy.
I'm definitely Gen Z at this point.
So I have one last thing to interject. My dog, his name is Trek.
I love that.
This is him. And he rides with me all the time. He's faster than anyone or anyone you know on a mountain bike,
It's a very handsome pooch.
partially because of the French lines he takes. Tends to cut off a lot of the trail, but I would
like
never
you to
forgive myself.
French lines? Will you expand upon that?
Oh, he's cutting off corners.
Why is that a French?
Because that's what French riders
Because
do.
Frenchies tend to find the fastest way from point A to point B
Well,
with or within or without the corner markers and course markers.
vive la France.
Yeah, we could have had 3 more dogs in here, which would have been...
Chaos.
Yeah, especially because all 3 of them are high energy dogs, and these 3 dogs
They would have simmered.
are not high energy. No, there's no simmering with Steve, Winston, and
Yeah,
Trek.
my dogs would not have sat still at all.
What kind do you have?
I got 2 German short-haired pointers.
Oh, we had a Weimaraner before. so-
Mine's a
okay.
lab
So-
Weimaraner mix.
So you know what
Yeah.
they're like.
Yeah.
Higher-
I mean,
high
I
energy
love,
dogs.
I loved him so much, but after him, I was like, I need a 180-degree spin around in energy levels
Mm-hmm.
because they're not really great shop dogs.
I'm glad we waited to do this
Same.
because the initial idea was to do it at the party, which would not have worked, especially with the acoustics in here. Like,
Yeah, everyone would have sounded like the Peanuts teacher.
And plus, you guys, you
We're
needed
busy.
to enjoy that
Yeah.
night. Yeah.
yeah.
I-
After we talked about it, I'm glad
I
we
think I remember
postponed.
it.
And then we moved it to another day, and then that didn't work. And then we moved to another day, and that didn't work. And today, it worked out.
It worked out well. I think it worked out very well.
So I'm happy to have you guys on and excited to see what comes on. Were you about to cheers? Are we
I was.
cheersing?
Yeah, I was just going to say cheers, guys. Well,
Yeehaw.
Kellen doesn't drink.
that's all right. We won't touch it.
Yeah, we wish you guys the best, and you got a cool place here, and we'd like to keep seeing you expand and grow. Yeah, guys, come check it out. What's your guys' address for people that haven't been here yet, so they know where to find you?
7740 Childsdale Avenue
All right, yeah, come
in
check.
Rockford, Michigan.
And hopefully no one goes out and spray paints a big Tour de France style logo of Rockford Bike Shop on the Childsdale Bike Shop or
Gosh,
Bike Trail
I would be
crossing.
so upset about that.
That would be
I
so
mean,
terrible if
I'd
someone
be-
just graffitied
I
the
would-
road
I
out
would
there.
it would be such a tragedy.
And I can't wait to see your guys' deck.
Yeah.
It's big.
It's so big.
If you're into big decks.
Yeah, you got a cool place here, guys. Thanks for having us. Guys, come out, check out the shop. BYOB, you can bring your own beer and shop. How many other places
For
can you do
now.
that? But yeah, thanks for having us and talking with us. And
Thanks
all
for
you guys
having us.
listening, remember to keep progressing, keep pushing yourself, and have fun. Thanks. Bye.